Assalamu alaikum. I am Professor Dr. Bilkis Fatma, Associate Professor of Zoology, Government Degree Girls College, Gulshan Iqbal, near Sheikh Zayed Center, Karachi. Today, I am going to discuss chapter number 14 for first year zoology, transport. Today's topic is circulatory system or cardiovascular system. Our objectives are to understand circulatory system in the animals and general plan of transport system. Generally, three major factors are involved. Number one, blood. We are going to discuss components of blood and functions of blood. Then heart. We are going to discuss the structure of human heart, cardiac cycle and heartbeats. And third part is blood vessels. There are three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins and capillaries. Circulatory system generally you can say comprised of four major portions. Number one, it have to contain a circulatory fluid, which we know is blood, a contractile device. It might be a modified blood vessel or a complete heart. The tubules or vessels for that circulation, and number four is valves. This diagram is going to show the mammalian transport system, which is actually a complete transport system. Two organs are involved: lungs and heart. Lungs exchange gases between the blood and the air sacs. That oxygenated blood enter into the heart. From heart transported to the rest of the body. Then from rest of the body, deoxygenated blood again collected, poured into the heart, from where it is again pumped into the lungs. So it is a complete cycle. Now, accordingly, there are two types of circulatory systems. Number one, open type of circulatory system. That open type of circulatory system is actually carried on within the body cavity, means the fluid or the blood is in direct contact with the body cavity. That's why the body cavity is called as hemocoel. As the tissues are directly bathed, directly in contact with the blood, that's why the blood is also called as hemolymph. And mostly it is found in the body of arthropods, mollusks and tunicates. As it is present in the lower animals, the flow of blood is also poor because of the presence of a weak heart. There is only one exception in phylum Arthropoda, that is class Insecta. Within the body of insects, the exchange of gases does not take place with the blood, because within the body of insects, blood lack that pigment which bound oxygen is not present within the body of insects. That's why their transport system, especially for respiration, takes place with the help of another system, which is tracheal system, while other materials, nutrients, so and so forth, are carried with the help of blood. Within closed type of circulatory system, which is, you can say, advanced type of circulatory system, the particular channels or blood vessels are involved, and those blood vessels create a barrier, a hindrance between the muscles, between the tissues and the blood. So blood is not in direct contact of the tissues. The examples of closed type of circulatory system is annelids, echinoderms, cephalopods and vertebrates. As it have got a very strong pushing pressure, the blood is pushed with a pressure, so that's why a highly muscular heart is involved for this type of circulation. As a highly muscular heart is involved, so the blood distribution is controlled and adjustable. Now there are two major type of blood supplies in the body of animals. You can say two major type of blood circulation found in the body of vertebrates. Number one, single circuit circulation. Number two, double circuit circulation. Single circuit circulation mostly found in the body of fishes. The flow of the blood is unidirectional, means always the blood flow from one organ to another. No organ receives the blood twice in its flow. The heart of the fish is two-chambered, an atrium and a ventricle. From all of the body of the fish, the blood is collected into thin-walled sinus venosus, from where it is driven to ventricle, which is highly muscular. That ventricle push the blood through conus arteriosus into ventral aorta. From ventral aorta, the blood goes to afferent branchial arteries, which are 4 to 5 in pairs, and those branchial arteries open into gills, where exchange of gases takes place. You can say oxygenation takes place. Oxygen comes into the blood while carbon dioxide goes out of the blood. Whereas in double circulation, which is present from amphibia to mammals, the circulation is of two types, pulmonary or systemic circulation. Not or, and systemic circulation, because the body, within the body of amphibians and reptiles, the heart is three-chambered, two aorta and one ventricle. As you can see within the fishes, the auricle and ventricle is not divided, but within the body of one of the reptile, which is crocodile, a little bit of septum is found, which is going to part or separate the ventricle also. Generally, within amphibians and reptiles, ventricle is not divided. Only it takes place within the body of crocodile. While within the body of birds and mammals, the heart comprised of four parts, four chambers, two complete aorta and two complete ventricles. It means complete auriculoventricular septum is found within the body of birds and mammals. So you can say that within the body of amphibians and reptiles, the type of double circuit circulation is incomplete double circulation, while within the body of birds and mammals, the double circulation is complete double circulation. You can see single circuit circulation within the body of fishes. Once from all of the body, the blood, deoxygenated blood is collected in the atrium. Then from atrium, blood is pushed into the ventricle. Then from the ventricle, it is pushed to the gills where aeration takes place, oxygenation takes place, and that oxygenated blood from the gills is circulated within whole body. As you can see, the blood does not enter twice into the atrium and ventricle. That's why this circuit is called as single circuit circulation. While this is double circuit circulation within the body of birds and mammals. Complete double circulation is found. Blue color shows to deoxygenated blood while red is oxygenated blood. From the lungs, the blood enter into left atrium. From left atrium, blood goes to left ventricle. From left ventricle, oxygenated blood is pushed to all parts of the body. Then from the body, deoxygenated blood is collected by superior and inferior vena cava, enter into right atrium, from right atrium into right ventricle, from right ventricle to the lungs. So I'm telling you the route for incomplete double circulation. From right atrium, the blood from the body, all the deoxygenated blood from sinus venosus, from anterior posterior vena cava enter into right atrium, then from right atrium into the ventricle, because in incomplete double circulation the ventricle is not divided. Then from ventricle the blood is pushed into the lungs where oxygenation takes place. Then from lungs the blood enter into left atrium, that by means of pulmonary vein, and then from left atrium into the ventricle again through conus arteriosus. Here you can see the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood within the ventricle is a little bit combined, mixed. That's why the circulation is called as incomplete double circulation. Then from ventricle it is driven to all parts of the body. While within birds and mammals, complete double circulation, the route is from the body into the right atrium, then from right atrium to the right ventricle, then from right ventricle to the lungs by means of pulmonary artery, while from lungs goes to left atrium through pulmonary vein, then from left atrium into the left ventricle, then from left ventricle by means of aorta is driven to all the body. Now we are discussing the major components of the circulatory system. Number one is blood. Blood is a red circulating connective tissue. It is a viscous fluid. It is flowing part of the circulatory system. Also it is called as circulating tissue because it circulates within the whole body. Also it is called as connective tissue because it is going to connect all the parts of the animal body. The blood is comprised of two parts. Number one, plasma. Number two, blood cells. Plasma is actually 55% part of the blood. It is liquid part of the blood, and within plasma itself 90% is water, in which 10% other materials are either dissolved or suspended. The dissolved materials are glucose, urea, amino acids, hormones, enzymes, autotoxins, and the suspended materials are certain kind of plasma proteins such as albumins, globulins, and fibrinogens. Actually, these proteins are found in the form of colloids. Sometimes a little bit of plasma escapes through the walls of the arteries and come in between the tissues, and this is called as tissue fluid. Now this tissue fluid also have got a little bit of WBCs, and it performs not only the function of protection, but also it is going to provide a watery medium to the tissues. Now this picture shows the RBCs, WBCs and platelets. The RBCs are smaller in size while WBCs are larger in size. As I already told you, the blood cells are 45%. Three types of blood cells are found. Number one, RBCs, red blood cells, which are also called as erythrocytes because erythrin means red color and cyton means cells. So you can say these cells are red in color. Structurally, these are disc-like or circular, rounded in shape, biconcave, and smaller in size, about 7 micrometer in diameter. These are non-nucleated cells without mitochondria and without endoplasmic reticulum. These are red in color because of the presence of an iron-bound protein, hemoglobin, which is actually a globular protein. Its function is majorly to transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. Majorly the oxygen is bound with the hemoglobin part of the RBCs. Majorly within the fetus stage, within the stage when the baby or the embryo is within the womb of the mother, these are produced by means of liver of fetus. While after birth of the baby, the RBCs are formed within bone marrow of femur and humerus mostly because these are larger bones of the human body. Also, they can be produced by bones of skull, ribs, pelvis and vertebrae. WBCs, white blood cells, also called as leukocytes. It means no color is found within them. These are either spherical or irregular in shape. These are nucleated cells and they are larger than RBCs. Also, they are produced within bone marrow. Also, they can produce within the spleen, thymus and lymph nodes. According to the structure, these are of two types. 72% of them are granulocytes, means granules are found within their cytoplasm. They are neutrophils 70%, eosinophil 1.5% and basophils 0.5%, while agranulocytes are 28%, out of which 4% are monocytes and lymphocytes are 24%. According to the function, they are of two types. Their function can be phagocytic, means they are going to engulf the outer body, the outer organism, any kind of bacteria, any kind of virus, any kind of outer body which is going to enter within our body. By means of phagocytic function, they are going to kill that body, and these are neutrophils and monocytes, while the other function is lymphocytic. Lymphocytic function means they are going to secrete certain chemicals or antibodies that are going to attach with the outer cells, outer microorganisms, and neutrify them, kill them. These are lymphocytes, eosinophils, and basophils. Now the third part of the blood is platelet. These are actually meant for blood clotting. Their function is to clot the blood wherever you have got a cut or wound on your body. They come over there and prepare a net-like structure which is going to stop the bleeding. These are actually non-nucleated and fragments of the remains of the cells, and they are also formed, they are also produced within bone marrow. So we are going to summarize up the functions of the blood. The blood transport the gases, it transport the nutrients. When you are going to take the food, that food is converted into simpler substances, and that simpler substances are going to be carried by blood to that particular sites. Also, the waste substances are transported by means of blood. Metabolic byproducts are also transported by means of blood. Hormones, which are chemical agents produced within our body with the help of endocrine glands. These chemicals are also transported by means of blood. Body heat, major factor of our body. You know, our body temperature is fixed because heat is continuously producing within our body. That heat is also distributed by means of blood. Function of defense, immunologic function. The most important function carried out by means of WBCs. Any outer body enter within our body is killed or detoxified with the help of WBCs, and the function is called as immunologic function. Blood clotting. Whenever platelets come to any cut or wound part of the body, the blood clotting takes place, done with the help of platelets. Now we are going to discuss the second part of the blood circulation system, the heart. Heart is actually a very powerful muscular organ. Within a mature adult, its weight is about 300 grams and size is of a fist. It is conical shaped, reddish in color, made up of cardiac muscles. Our heart is actually present within our breast cavity in between the ribs. It is covered by means of a membrane called as pericardium, inside which a fluid is found which is going to keep the heart moist. Also, it protects the heart against any physical trauma, and that is called as pericardial fluid. So you can say the human heart or mammalian heart is four-chambered, two aorta which are thin-walled and two ventricles which are thick-walled. The aorta are thin-walled because they always receive the blood, while ventricles are thick-walled because they are always going to push the blood. Well, all of the deoxygenated blood enters within the heart by means of two major veins called as superior and inferior vena cava into right atrium, while two pair of pulmonary veins are present which are going to carry oxygenated blood into the left atrium. Two large arteries are found within our body. Number one, pulmonary aorta, that carry blood from right ventricle to the lungs. While another is systemic aorta, which carries oxygenated blood from left ventricle to all the body parts. Both of these aorta are guarded by semilunar walls, which are going to stop the backward flow of blood. Now, within human heart, right side of the heart is completely separated from left side by means of an auriculoventricular septum. Actually, right atrium and right ventricle are separated by interatrial septum, while left atrium and left ventricle are separated by interventricular septum. In between the right atrium and right ventricle, a tricuspid valve is present, means the valve which is made up of 3 layers, which is going to prevent the backward flow of blood. Always the blood will flow from right atrium into the right ventricle and not from right ventricle into the right atrium. While by means of interventricular septum, always the left atrium opens into the left ventricle. Always the blood flows from left atrium into the left ventricle because it is guarded, the opening is guarded by bicuspid or mitral valve made up of 2 layers. Always the blood flow from left atrium into the left ventricle. And these valves are attached by means of cordia tendineae onto the particular places by means of papillary muscles. Well, always the left ventricle wall is thicker than the right one. Why? Because left ventricle have to push the blood with a very powerful force to all the parts of the body, while right ventricle have to push the blood only to the lungs. Now you can see there are coronary arteries present all around the heart, and these are actually the branches from aorta, and their function is to supply blood to the muscles of the heart. You can see the structure of the heart. The blood from vena cava, superior and inferior, is collected into the right atrium. Then from right atrium, through the valve, tricuspid valve, enter into right ventricle. From right ventricle to the lungs by means of pulmonary artery. Then from the lungs by means of pulmonary vein into the left atrium. Then from left atrium through bicuspid valve enter into the more thicker part of the ventricle, which is left ventricle. The opening is guarded by bicuspid valve. Then from left ventricle by means of aorta, the blood is supplied to all the parts of the animal body. All that flow of the blood is completed by a cycle which is called as cardiac cycle. Cardiac cycle is comprised of two phases. Either it is systole or diastole. When the heart contracts to pump the blood out of the heart, the cycle is called as systole. When the heart relaxes, after contraction, the system is called as diastole. Now the systole has been divided into two parts. Either the systole is atrial or ventricular, means either the blood is pushed by atrium or ventricle. When the blood is pushed by atrium, both the right and left atria contract at the same time, pushing the blood from atrium to ventricle, that is atrial systole, and both the ventricles contract at the same time, pushing the blood away from the heart, either into pulmonary or into systemic circulation, that is called as ventricular systole. While, as you know, during diastole, the heart relaxed. When heart is relaxed, the atrium relax, both the atrium relax at the same time, and both the atrium receives the oxygenated or deoxygenated blood. Right side will get deoxygenated blood, while left side will get deoxygenated blood. Both the atrium will relax at the same time, and both the ventricles will relax at the same time, receiving oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. You can see within these pictures, during atrial systole, both the atria contract, while during ventricular systole, both the ventricles contract. While ventricular diastole receives the blood from both the atrium. All that cardiac cycle occurs 72 times per minute in a mature adult during the resting stage, and one single cycle is called as heartbeat. These are actually rhythmic contractions because the heart muscles are myogenic. They contract for 72 times in a minute, and they are going to produce a sound during these contractions, which is called as loop and dub sound. These heart sounds are divided into ventricular systole, which is a loop sound, while ventricular diastole, which is a dub sound, and it takes 0.8 seconds to complete one heartbeat. This heartbeat is going to occur with the help of signals, with the help of stimulations, carried on with the help of pacemaker, which is actually a sino-auricular node that contracts the atrium and going to produce the heartbeat. Well, that stimulations are unable to reach to the ventricles due to the presence of a non-conducting band between the auricles and ventricles. So for ventricular contractions, there is a separate part which is called as auriculoventricular node that is actually present just below the right atrium, below the sino-auricular node. Also, That auriculoventricular node is called as Purkinje tissue. Now the third part of the blood circulatory system are blood vessels. Number 1, veins. You can see the picture of veins. It have got 3 layers. Tunica intima, the most inner part of the vein. It is made up of squamous epithelium. Tunica media, the middle layer, made up of smooth muscles and elastic fibers, while tunica externa, which is the outermost layer, made up of fibrous connective tissues, which are made up of collagen fibers. The lumen or internal space of the vein is actually smaller, while it is provided by semilunar valves. They are thin walled, they are less muscular, they are less elastic, non-pulsatile, because the pressure of the flow of blood is very slow, because they carry deoxygenated blood towards the heart from all of the body parts. They are not deep seated, they are superficial, and they collapse when they are empty. Now the arteries, which are thick walled, which are highly muscular, that are elastic and distensible. Also they are made up of 3 parts: tunica externa, tunica media and tunica interna. Their lumen is small as compared to the veins. Their lumen is without valves because the blood is pumped with a very high pressure, so they are pulsatile. They carry oxygenated blood. They are not superficial, they are deep seated, deeply embedded within our tissues, and they do not collapse. You can see its structure: tunica intima, the innermost layer, tunica media, the middle layer, and tunica externa, the outer layer, made up of collagen fibers and some elastic fibers. The third one are capillaries, the most fine hair-like structures, a network-like structure which are going to connect the arteries, the veins, and all the cells and tissues of the body. They are extremely narrow, about 7 to 10 micron. You can see its picture also. Their lumen is very big. They are single celled, thick, and their wall is made up of endothelium. They have got very slow blood flow because they have to carry the blood each and every cell of the body. The cells of the blood can come in and go out with the help of diffusion and active flow, and the point where a capillary originates is called as arteriole, where all the capillaries combine to produce a vein, to form or build a vein is called as venule. That is all for today. Hope you all understood the material. Goodbye and good luck.